Welcome to Views from the Vista. I'm Steve Hernandez.
I'm Zed Cutsinger.
And I'm Honor Nizzo.
Today we'll be reviewing Cruella with Heather Maruli. She's a very funny stand-up comedian. She helps co-host at the Chatterbox a lot, and she's a member of the Views from the Vista family. She watches those movies with us every Wednesday. She's so funny. We had a great time reviewing Cruella with her. We get very much into her personal life, too. Heather's a blast, and we had a great time doing that with her. But for right now, how was your week, fellas?
So good.
So good. Why was your week so good, Honor?
I just got to see friends, and I went to a baby shower, and that it's not normally exciting, but it's for a friend of mine who, obviously is having a baby, but really
Leslie's done our show a couple times. It's been a while.
Has.
But she's happy. She's married. She's in love. You guys have worked together in the service industry for how many years?
Well, we were friends first. We were friends for a lot of years. She was my very first friend. I met her over the phone before I moved to LA. She was my very first friend here. And we were friends for like 5 years. And then I started working with her at Swingers for 3 years, and then Little Pine for 4 years. So we've worked together a long time.
So this is a big deal that one of your oldest friends finally having a kid. It's monumental, right?
Yeah, and also she's she doesn't like kids. She's going to like her kid, but she's she's going to be a cool mom. Not that if you like kids, you're not a cool mom, but you know what I mean. It was just fun and not we didn't play games or anything. It wasn't one of those baby showers. It was just exciting, and also I think it was everyone was just excited to see each other again for the first time.
Yes, as things continue to open up more, we went to our friend Drew had a little birthday party for himself, just a little, 15 people or something, and then I had a show, and it's just oh, we're getting back into it, but it is just so nice to see everybody again.
Yeah.
And also, maybe this is not the right time to bring this up, but ever since Honor went to this, I was thinking Honor and I don't know, maybe we should have a kid.
What do you think about that, Honor?
No, thank you.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Honor, I thought we... Oh, okay.
Now, we haven't talked about this in probably years, but Leslie and I have electric chemistry together, and I don't know if she's ever said that, but
I don't know that she has.
No, I've always felt it though, and I am an empath. But I haven't seen her. Whenever we would come into the restaurant, and she would always come and talk to me. I remember once TJ Panther even felt it, and she was like, "What's happening with you two?
What's going on right here?"
I was like, "Sorry, this is just what happens when me and Leslie get together."
Well, it seems like that door is closed and locked now, Steve.
Well, that's what you think, Sad. Leslie, if you're listening, and anything ever goes wrong, I will raise that beautiful baby of my own. And wherever you go, I will go. If you need someone to work in the back of the kitchen, I will be there for you to raise a beautiful little chubby white baby.
And if anyone's listening to this who's not Leslie, because I don't want to get involved with whatever is going on now, but if you want to have a kid, just hit me up.
Oh my God.
How about you, Zed? How was your week?
It was pretty good. Working, dealing with the public. It just makes me it makes me happy. People are so excited for what tomorrow brings. I think there's I'm serious. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of optimism, and let's just ride this happiness while we can,
I know. I start work not this next Thursday, but the week after. And I'm just picturing it. I really, I haven't bartended in a year and a half and, or close to that, 14, 15 months, something like that. And I'm envisioning myself making the drinks, but there's going to be tons of people I haven't seen in 16, 17 months. And I'm just going to be like, well, let me come around the bar and give you a fucking hug because I haven't seen you guys in so long. There's this whole big part of my life that's been cut off that is going to be, it's going to exist again. So I'm looking forward to that.
Well, Steve, I got a line you can use at work that I used once and I need to start using it more often.
Let's hear this line.
So someone comes to pick up food, their delivery driver, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm picking up this food for, let's just say Heather M." And I go, okay. And I give it to them. And before they can take it, I go, do you promise? And they looked at me and they went, yeah. And I was like, all right. And I gave it to them. I think asking people when there's information traded back and forth, just say, do you promise? And, someone's like, oh, I want to get like a PBR. And you go, do you promise that that's what you want? And kind of just throw that promise into it and just kind of see how people react to that. Or you go, you wouldn't be lying, would you?
I remember being very little and do you guys, I don't know if you remember this, but we grew up in church, so stuff like this, you couldn't swear to God. Do you remember saying this when you were little?
Yes.
Yeah. I think maybe the Bible says that. As someone who knows the Bible well, I don't really know for a fact. I'm sure
they have that rule in the Bible somewhere.
Yeah. But I do remember saying, swear to God, and saying, I can't swear to God. I swear to this. Do you remember this now, Anna?
Yeah, I think so. Like,
no.
I feel like being like, I swear to God, and my grandma being like, don't do that. Or like some fucking loser at my school being like, you can't take the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah.
Like they'd say it like that.
That's different. You can't take
the Lord's name in vain.
All right, that kid needs to get thrown off the bus on her. I don't know who that kid was. Based off of his voice, I'm done with him. Yeah, there was an age, I wasn't religious, but there was an age where I only said I swear to God if I 100% was telling the truth. And then there was like an age where I said I swear to God when it was false, and I kind of dipped my toes in the satanic. But yeah, Steve, there definitely was an age where I was like, if I say I swear to God, I cannot lie. But it was like, why? I wasn't like, I don't know why that was the thing, but I was like, it's the rule, like Scout's honor.
Yeah.
There should be a thing like that.
It's like a double dog dare. You can't turn it down. It's a double dog dare. You have to do it.
You can't turn the double dog down. Can't turn the double dog down there. Oh, don't throw me off of the bus. That's when you threw him off the bus on her.
Yes.
All right, we've got some pretty big news for you guys. Some of you, it might not be that big of a deal at all, but we are going to. This will be probably for a little while. This will be our last public episode available that you can get on the Apple podcast app or Spotify or anything like that. We're going to go strictly Patreon from this point forward. Right now, we're cranking out. I think when we're going on all four cylinders, I think we review 8 movies, and
sometimes more. Sometimes there's 5. Sometimes there's 5 Wednesdays in a month.
Yeah. So there's sometimes when we do watch 8 movies, review 8 movies, 8 podcasts. That's 4 on the public one, 4 on the Patreon one. And I personally can't do it, and I know Zed and Honor, we've all kind of come to a place where we want to work on other projects, but something has to give. And so instead of just canceling the podcast, which we don't want to do because we love each other,
we're not going to succumb to cancel culture, Steve.
And we love the views from the Vista family. We're just going to start putting out episodes strictly on the Patreon episode. Probably, I think I could at least 3 new episodes, so 3 reviews a month, and then I think Zed might be up to something too. He's been doing some solo stuff, so we're looking at 3 or 4 episodes for the Patreon, all brand new views from the Vista stuff. But as for this public one, it'll be available for I think 3 or 4 months at least. All the backlog and catalog. If you want to download episodes right now, just know that we're going to be paying for Libsyn for the next few months. But for many of you, this will be goodbye. And I guess I wanted to thank you all for this. It's been 5.5 years, and a lot of you guys have been with us from the start. So if you can't swing the $5 to come and join us on Patreon, really, truly, thank you so much for all your support. I know we get hundreds of downloads per episode and stuff, so whatever, the Patreon's not representative, but we'd love for you to come over there. Just think of it as buying us one tall boy beer, and then we're all just sharing it, me, Honor, and Zed, a month. But if you can't swing it, or you're too busy, or you've got a limit on all your subscriptions, we completely understand that too. Thank you for your love, and thank you for your support. We really do appreciate it. What do you got to say about that, Honor?
I was just gonna say, yeah, if you can't, even if you can't join the Patreon, which is totally understandable, join us on the Discord. It's so fun. We all just like annoy each other all day talking about movies, and the Discord nights are really fun. I don't know, how much longer we'll do those every week, but like we were saying, it's fun for now, and we're gonna do something else with it too. So join us at least on the server. It'll be great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
truly.
and
Yeah, join us on the Discord. Hit up Honor, Zeta, or myself for that. And we're chatting every day, all day on that with the Views from the Vista family and the Patreon and everything like that, too. And that's free at all times if you want to still stay in the loop and hear from us. And Zed's always recommending movies. A bunch of everybody that's in that group is always recommending movies. It's super fun. That's free. Reach out to us for that Discord link. What were you going to say, Zed?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say just DM the Views from the Vista Instagram or any of us, and we'll send you a link. It's a private Discord just because we want to make sure that the big name movie producers aren't kind of just like the vultures, just kind of picking apart what we're talking about and making movies out of it. This is just for us, okay?
So, you guys got to thank them. I thanked them already. You guys got to thank them.
I'm not gonna thank them.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
This was really fun. I never thought that I would be, and I will thank you and Zed, Steve, you and Zed, you. I'll thank you guys as well. I never thought I would be a person who even listens to podcasts, let alone be on a podcast, let alone part of a group of people on a podcast together. This has been such a fun part of my life to do this every week. I know we'll keep doing the Patreon for a while or whatever, but this has just been such a fun thing to do, and I have always loved talking about movies, and there have been times where specifically the two of you have made me fucking hate it, but I will say for the most part it's just so nice to like always get to talk about something you saw with your friends and just have a great conversation.
Yeah, that's why we started it. There's no way I knew we would have all become best friends when we started this
Mhm.
5.5 years ago, and that we would have met so many cool people. That
And
we
let's not
thought.
forget the Views from the Vista lore that Steve invited Honor to host this without my permission.
That was true.
Episode, what was it? 10? 8?
Yeah, it was pretty early on.
I
What is
think
this
it
like?
was
Now we're up to 200
I think it was
something?
8 because I think that's like my lucky number. So I was like, oh, number 8.
Yeah, but yeah, thank you guys so much. Without you, Honor and I probably would have broken up a while ago. But now with the Patreon, I think we're hanging on by a thread. So please, $5 a month. We need this. We will break up. I will get someone pregnant who's not Honor. Help us. We don't want that.
That's not gonna
And
happen.
yeah, I'm not. Yeah, people get worried. I don't know if you guys have not joined Patreons or whatever, but I joined. I'm members of a lot of people's patrons, and sometimes I have to drop out for a little bit, and then I come back in. And if for some reason you miss us in 3 months, we'll be there. Pay $5, catch up with us. Stop it. Pay $5 in a few more months, but we're just gonna keep doing them. We really do love you, and we love each other. We're gonna keep doing this, but thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. This has been a fun time. I didn't really think about that. We really are saying goodbye to so many of you, but it's been a hell of a 5.5 year ride. And download these episodes because we're gonna stop hosting them in a few months. So go back, find favorite ones. You got 3 months to catch up before the library disappears. But yeah, I guess that's it, man.
Oh, Steve, stop crying.
I know we're gonna keep doing them, but this does feel some of these people will never talk to again.
Yeah, and if you're a network listening to this, just pick us up, and then we won't have to stop.
Yeah, then we'll do it. You hear that, Mr. Network person? All
For
right,
$1 million.
all right.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah.
Let's see here. Heather Maruli is so funny. We love her. She couldn't have known she was going to be our last guest. Although I told her, and she's like, "Oh, you think I'm just some cheap floozy?" That's what she literally said, and I was like, "What are you talking about, Heather? We're settling down with you. You're our final guest." And we had a great time with this episode. What a way to go out who would have thought that we all would have enjoyed Cruella so much? We really did, and we had an even better time reviewing it. So without further ado, here's Views from the Vista 283. Cruella
86.
86. Oh, fine. 286. That's the final one. Let's see. Would I stop on? Would I stop with Respect the Danger of Knives? 270. All right. That's how it goes. But then we have 100 other ones on the Patreons too. So, further ado, here's Views from the Vista 286. Heather Maruli with Cruella with Heather Maruli.
Bye-bye.
And we're back to review Cruella with the Los Angeles comedy scene's very own Cruella herself. Folks, you know I'm talking about Heather Maruli. Hey,
Wow.
Heath. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
It's an honor to have you.
That's my name.
Thank you so much. Yes. No, some people have said that about me. They have said that I am, in a way, a villainess.
Wow.
That I often play the heel, if you will.
That was because of the way you treat dogs.
Well, you do have a feud with everyone in town.
That's a misnomer. I don't have a feud with everyone. It's just with people who deserve.
With the good people.
They deserve a little heat on the back of their neck. You know what I mean?
I love that about you.
I get bullied a lot, is what I'm saying. I get bullied a lot. I'm a victim. Okay, I'm a victim.
Now, if you all don't know, Heather's a very funny comedian. She's also a big part of the Views from the Vista family. She joins us every Wednesday on Discord, typically very funny. Chatterbox co-host. I mean, there's nothing this person doesn't do right here. And then famously, constantly falling in love with DJs / musicians / Aries men. Are you free of those all right now, or are you?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I've been sucked back in.
Oh, no.
What's the quote from The Godfather? He goes, "Right when I thought when I was out, they pulled me back in."
Now, is this the same long-term DJ? He's got his claws back into you?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh no.
I mean,
Heather, do you want me to say something to this guy? Because I will.
What? Say what? What are you gonna say?
I'll say something.
I mean, this guy spins you round like a record, baby.
Yeah.
Round, right?
Right
Yeah,
round, baby, right round.
Some may say, and maybe there was some centripetal motion taking place over the weekend. Yeah. Let's just say that my thighs are sore.
Oh my God!
Oh,
Some would
boy.
say you've already said too much, but okay.
Heather, do you know
my
we're
God.
recording this?
Yes. Unfortunately, this is my brand.
Yeah, Heather's an open book. I wouldn't ask anybody about their ex-lover on this thing.
I know, it's just
But
goofing
Heather-
off. I
Alright,
make jokes
so-
too sometimes, you guys.
I know, but I do need to ask: is it DJ Tiesto?
No.
Oh my God.
No. It's not. It's not DJ.
Okay.
Yes, it's someone much less successful.
It better not be Zed.
So-
Oh, DJ Zed, right?
No.
Isn't that a
They
Two
said it better
Ds,
not be.
two
No.
Ds, yeah.
yeah?
No.
Oh, I was just at a party this past weekend, and I was introduced to someone, and someone was asking where my husband Zed was, and then like later in the day they were like, Honor, they've thought that you were married to Zed the DJ all day, and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible.
It's not even his real name. That guy's a fucking
Zed.
If I ever see that
Zed.
guy, it's on site.
Now, I mean, I just think it's great that somebody thinks that you're beautiful enough to be married to a world-class DJ, don't you think?
Who?
Did you
What?
say it's nice that someone is?
No, that someone thinks
Like-
that you're beautiful enough to wrangle in a
Like
world-class
that's the one
DJ.
someone person?
Steve,
Like I don't just walk down the street knowing that's what people think about
Oh my
me?
God.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, Steve, you might
I
want
think I've never
to
looked in a mirror.
backpedal from this one, Steve. This is not a good angle to
Not
shoot
gonna
from.
end well for you, my friend.
They're like, wasn't she with Moby?
Oh my God.
Are we
Did
gonna
you see
review
that-
his
did you see
movie
that
on this?
there's-
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
god!
my
I
feud.
saw the trailer for the Moby documentary. It
You
looks
did?
he is awful. Like, hasn't he like
Yeah.
done a bunch of awful things? And isn't
Yeah.
he's like obsessed with saying that he dated Natalie Portman, but
Yeah.
like he just was obsessed with her like
He was
when
just like
she was a teenager.
a creepy 30-year-old.
I think
trying
way
to-
older than 30. I
I
think.
think so too.
Didn't he start eating meat too? That's the rumor I'm starting.
Yeah, right.
It's just so funny, like when you think back to like when you were like 17 or 18 and there were these like older guys that were like not in your life at all,
Oh
just
my god.
hanging around you, being a fucking creep, and you just like literally by law had to like be nice to them. And then
Yeah.
like I was working for one of those guys for like years, and then like one day I just found out he was one of these guys. And to Natalie Portman, how embarrassing.
Well,
Sorry,
she
we
totally
should-
like
probably
shut
shouldn't be
him
recording
down, I
this.
think.
Oh yeah.
Well, I read
they should have
I read the
saved him.
book because we sold the
you
book.
did?
Yeah, we sold the book at the store, and so like I read those parts. I don't know if I'm like legally allowed to say this stuff.
Yeah,
You're just talking. What are you
I
talking
know,
about?
but because I signed an NDA, like I don't know if I'm gonna get in trouble.
Then-
Just cut
then
this
stop
part out
talking
where I'm
about
talking
it.
about the NDA. But yeah, I read the parts in the book where he talks about it because there's a couple different parts he talks about it. It's like really embarrassing.
Yeah, you're talking.
Like it reads like a really like a guy who's pretending that this girl is interested in him.
Yeah, you're talking about
Right,
a book
yeah.
that's been published, so you're not giving us any insight or anything like that. And I do remember reading those passages when that whole thing came out. I don't want to say I felt bad for Moby, although I really felt bad for Moby.
Oh
I
my
know
God.
she was the one who's like, I know she was the one
Oh
where she
my
was like,
god.
but it's just like at that point too, she's like this huge movie star, and she's like, oh no, and I'm just like, oh god, that's rough.
Yeah.
I
this
mean,
is also
I
the
don't feel
guy
sorry
that-
for him for her saying that. I feel sorry. I felt sorry for him because he wouldn't shut up. Like he would not just like be like, "Ooh, that was embarrassing." Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, time's weird.
We gotta stop talking about this guy. This is the guy that made Heather's legs sore recently.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to be clear
Put the
that
pieces
that
together,
guy-
Heather.
How old is Moby anyway? I have to look this up for. Just
He's
a
younger
fact
than
check.
the DJ. I'll tell you that much.
No, he's not. Oh, he's. 55.
I've seen the guys that dude, whatever, it's so funny because I remember I've seen some of these guys, the way she's been talking about this one DJ guy for, I think, as long as I've known her. I mean, literally 5 years or something like that. And then every now and then you'll get she'll be like, ooh, that guy's hot. And just some separate guy will be out on the town or something. And it's just like some fool who looks like Cameron from Ferris Bueller, like, except older. And I'm like, oh boy.
Oh my god! If that, like the guy from Succession, he's on Succession now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the
No,
crazy one, right?
yeah, I
Yes.
don't think he's hot. I think Jeremy Strong is hot. Kendall Roy,
Who's
but
Jeremy
like
Strong?
Kendall Roy.
Kendall Roy.
He
The,
plays
the
I'll
main
Google.
son, the
The
first
guy
son.
who
Okay.
shits himself in bed. That's exactly my
Wait,
type
what?
of man. He shits himself in bed. Is that a spoiler?
Is that like in real life or like in the show?
It's on the show in season 2.
In Growing Pains?
No,
What?
we're talking about
Succession.
Succession.
Oh, Succession. Sorry. I was like
Yeah.
so confused. Okay, go on.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
no, that's just my type of man. A rich addict whose father overshadows him and everything he does. So that's it. But yes, look, I'm not gonna say anything else. But there was some romance in my life this weekend. Okay, and
I
that's
think
it.
you've already.
I think we're
You've already
picking up what
implied-
you're putting
Yeah.
down.
Yeah,
You-
you've already
you-
implied that you guys had sex.
Yeah,
Okay.
Heather, do you
Yeah.
remember you talked about your sore thighs?
Yeah, but I also went to Pilates this weekend.
Oh, okay.
So it could be a combination.
Well, it's definitely the
either or.
Pilates.
Yeah.
Like, not
you
to,
know.
I'm sorry to burst your bubble. It's definitely the Pilates.
Okay. Pilates is hard.
Pilates is
Yeah.
so hard.
Yeah.
I do Pilates for like 5 minutes and I can't move for like 5 days.
Yeah,
Which-
I not to brag, I do 2 private sessions per week.
Wow.
Wow.
But that's just the type of lifestyle I have,
Fuck yeah. That's
Well,
a
I've ne-
brag.
I've never done Pilates, but my thighs are on fire right now.
Mm.
Mm.
All right, now before we launch
liking.
into the movie, one more personal question: Is it you? Now it's true. You're studying for the LSAT. Is that true?
I am studying for the
Whoa,
LSAT.
cool.
I'm
You're
so
gonna be a
excited
lawyer?
for you. Yeah,
Uh, yeah, I guess I'm going to be a lawyer. I don't know what I'm doing in life,
Wow,
honestly. This is
congrats.
I mean, this is just something I like decided to start doing like in quarantine, and I want to take it to see how well I do, but I have thought about, becoming an attorney for a while.
I love how
So
you're like, this is just something I've been doing at home over quarantine, becoming a lawyer.
well,
Okay.
like working on. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I've worked
Heather,
in
we
law
get
for a long
it. You're
time.
very beautiful.
Oh
You're
my god.
intelligent and you get laid all the time.
Not all the time, but
But
I
recently, maybe
yes,
this weekend,
recently, perhaps within the last couple of days, within the last 24 to 36
when
hours.
your legs are burning.
See, I would be afraid to be in a dating situation with you, Heather, because if we got into an argument, I know how good you are at insults, and I would be afraid that you would just destroy my soul.
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't think I'm very good at oh my god, like this is I don't want to like give away a secret, but on the inside I'm very soft. So I don't so I'm not really good at like insulting people who are
Heather.
close to
Everybody
me.
knows you're a that you love the Comedy Store roast battle. That you've got roasting in your bones. I don't know why
Mm.
you're saying
Yeah,
this.
aren't
Everybody
you a
knows.
roaster? I
Yes,
don't know
I
if you guys are joking right
battles.
now, but I thought you did
Yes.
roasts.
No,
Yeah.
I do roasts, but I'm not like like in interpersonal situations, like I'm definitely not a roaster. I'm more of the roasty. I feel like,
So
Oh.
you
you save it for
know.
the competition. You mean?
I mean, my most recent ex-boyfriend though would definitely say that I broke him emotionally and mentally. So it's not my fault though. He was weak. So
You can't help that.
So, yeah, no, he got mad at me because after we broke up, I was like, so you know how you go through a breakup, you're doing little tweets here and there. It's like the best tweet material is breaking up,
Yeah.
and there were a couple tweets I tweeted about this guy where it didn't even like have his name or anything, but like yeah, they were about him, but like it wasn't like super obvious unless it was to him specifically. And like, one of the tweets I think was I call my ex's new girlfriend the chauffeur because because he doesn't have a car and she drives him everywhere. And and he got so mad at me, and we weren't even, and keep in mind at this point we had already blocked each other on Twitter and everything, so he was somehow like seeing my tweets even though we had each other blocked, and then he sent me like a long like 6 paragraph email
Oh my god.
saying that I'm a bully, saying that like I'm playing the victim, and that what else did he say? He said he was never attracted to me, and that our relationship was fake or whatever. And I was like, okay. And then and then after that email, I tweeted specific references to the things he said to me in the email. Like I said, I put a quote like I was never attracted to you, and then I put guy who came on my tits hundreds of times.
Oh my god.
And it got a lot of interaction on Twitter. It did really well. So don't fuck with me, okay? That's all I'm gonna say.
I
Now
love that, Heather.
everyone knows why I called you the Los Angeles Cruella de Vil. Now, Heather, when
Yes.
I mentioned to you, we've been trying to get you on these past few weeks, and then you said what movie, and I said Cruella, and you were like, ugh, I don't. You're gonna make me watch that. You were upset about it. But let me ask you this: I
Yeah.
hope
Mm.
you enjoyed it, right?
I actually thought it was really good.
Good.
I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it very
Hell yeah.
much. Mhm.
Good. Okay, so what did you think it was going to be, and then how'd you feel about it while you were watching it?
I think a lot of my impression was based on the trailer because when the trailer came out, when the trailer dropped, everybody was like, "Oh my god, this is like the female Joker," and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god!" But it's not really because it's not rated R. Obviously, it's a Disney movie. So I was expecting something much cornier than what I did see. And just like the way that they kind of like took Cruella's story, and well, I loved how they like were referencing a lot of like mental health stuff. But I'm like huge mental health head over here. But also, what I noticed is how a lot of the people they cast look like the animated characters, like the guys in her little gang or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they look exactly like the original animated characters. I thought that was really interesting. And then Emma Thompson was just like unbelievable as the Baroness. Like I this is like the performance of a lifetime for her.
Yes,
It was
absolutely.
so good. And then, by the end of it, okay, I had no idea that Craig Gillespie directed this. And it all made sense after that because he also did I, Tanya, right?
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, that's very insightful. That is kind of, I guess he loves these anti-heroes, huh?
Oh yeah. Well, I guess that makes sense. Yes. But no, oh, and then also the guy who's the little short guy in her little gang. What's
Richard
his
Jewell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So that guy, he played Richard Jewell, but he was also in I, Tanya. He played the what's Sean Eckhart, right?
Oh yeah, he was in I, Tanya.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Paul Walter Hauser.
Because I was okay, that guy is so good. He is so good because I thought he was genuinely British. Like in this movie, I had no idea who he was at all. And then I looked it up after, and I also saw that he based his character in Cruella on Smee and Hook in Bob Hopkins. And it's like, oh,
That's
that
so
makes so
funny.
much sense. That it's like
Uh,
a tribute to Smee.
I'm not kidding. Did anybody see Richard Jewell here yet?
No.
No.
Uh,
No.
he, I promise you this. I'm not just saying this. I do think Paul Walter Hauser is going to win an Oscar at some point.
Oh, for sure.
I could see
Every
that, yeah.
everything he's in, he's so good. And especially Richard Jewell's so interesting. He's the titular character, and he makes the movie like good. Every time somebody tries to like bag on, I know I've got a soft spot for Clint Eastwood movies, but this
Mhm.
guy Paul Walter Hauser makes Richard Jewell like, wow, this is a good movie. You can tell it's a Clint Eastwood movie. It's kind of like full of what do you call that when they're trying to propaganda? It's like full Clint Eastwood propaganda.
Yeah.
But Richard Jewell's awesome in it, and so is Kathy Bates. So if you guys love Paul Walter Hauser, make sure you check him out in Richard Jewell. It's really a fun like pleasure to watch him. He's a great actor.
I think I've
Uh,
told the story on here, but around like 2013 when I was I was doing stand up and I was at Meltdown a lot. I remember I saw him perform stand up there twice, or at least on two different occasions.
oh, he did that on Meltdown.
At the theater, I don't know if he actually ever did the show.
Oh, you mean the open mic or something like that?
No, there were other shows there. I didn't
Yeah.
see him at open mic, but it was like the show that Matt Bennett and Moses Storm used to host. He was
Oh,
on it a couple times, and he was so funny at doing stand up. He was like one of those stand ups that kind of would like do a character a little bit. And I remember at one point he like kind of drooled on himself, but in a way where the drool was hanging down and he just kept going forward, and there was just this big piece of drool like all over his face, and it was
Oh my
so funny.
god.
I was just like, oh, this guy's incredible. I think he stopped doing stand up maybe and he just started focusing on acting. And I remember, I think I've told this before, but we added each other on Facebook, and he was at the time super duper into Jesus. And I was just like, oh, this is just not a friendship I
Oh
can
my god.
pursue. But it's just so funny that this guy who did this stuff is now in like a Disney movie. And no disrespect to anyone who's super into Jesus, I just don't know if we could be best friends.
well, what's so funny about him too? I saw his name popped up or something on Twitter, and I followed him on Twitter, and he's got like 12,000 followers, and he responds to everybody who talks to him.
Yeah,
They're
he's
like-
awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Every movie I've seen him in, I'm just like, this guy's the fucking man. I think I, Tanya was the one that really kind of opened the floodgates of people being aware with him. But like, you know, his small parts in like Black Klansman or Defy Bloods that I've seen him in and other things, he's just always just lights the screen up. Huge fan.
Honor, what'd you think of this movie?
Yeah, I loved it. I felt like it was really you know, like this is maybe like a reoccurring theme on the podcast. I get it. I understand the villain. Like I am there. Not this villain, but like Cruella. But we're supposed to, obviously. But I'm like just really interested, like, what do you think is the thing in the future that sets her off so she wants to kill all the puppies?
We'll
Like,
find out
I
in the
just-
sequel.
Like I
They're
know
doing a sequel on her.
I know we'll find out, but
Well,
I
they
just
totally
wanna
set it up
know.
at the end.
Yeah, they're gonna do a Cruella too. It got announced.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
That's so exciting. Yeah, it felt like they just kind of set it up for a sequel, but I didn't know there was announced. But yeah. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was really like yes, you can tell that like there is some mental health stuff going on, but like yeah, really relatable, really relatable.
Honor, have you thought that maybe that means that you are dealing with mental health problems?
Oh baby, I know. Got a lot of mental health problems.
Now, I haven't seen 101 Dalmatians.
Never?
What?
Oh,
Have you ever
I
read
haven't
the
seen
book?
that movie. No.
Do you know what happens in the story?
No, I know that she's trying to get all these puppies from this couple to make a coat. That's what I know.
So the couple at the end, where it sets it up for those two people to have the puppies,
Yes.
yeah.
in the original story, they're married and their dogs are like married or whatever, and their dogs are those two dogs are having the puppies, and those are
Brother
the
and
puppies
sister, by the way.
that she's. Yeah, I explained this to Zed. Most puppies and kittens are brother and sister.
Their
And then
parents are brother
They're
and sister. you're
inbred,
saying.
like they're inbred. Yeah,
I don't know if I'd say most.
Well, cats for sure. I don't know about dogs.
I don't.
yes.
I've never. Honor, I've got to tell you, this is the first I've heard of this as well.
I don't know about this.
Are the
Honor.
cats being inbred?
Yeah, I've never heard
Yes.
this before.
Where the fuck do you get your cats?
I thought
don't know
cats
anything
just.
about that.
I thought cats just
live
go
on
out into
the
the
street.
Yeah, they go on the. It's like a cat doesn't go on the street and then, behind a dumpster finds their sister.
Yes,
I think-
usually there's like a litter of kittens born together, and then they stay together. They're pack animals. I mean, yeah,
Mhm.
they'll be like all by themselves sometimes, but like when you see a little group of kittens that all look about the same age, it's probably because they're brother and sister. I hate to have to be the one to tell you, Zed. I mean, I already told you this, and I'm sorry for it, but Al and Tony are both confirmed inbred cats, and I'm sorry about that.
I thought this is what happens with dog. What do they call it? Cat? Like when people breed dogs, but I don't think this happens on the streets. That's like where you get. I think it's
You're
people.
right.
Sure, Zed.
I'm with Zed on this one. We'll explore it later when we stop recording the episode. But I think in this particular one, I'm gonna have to. This is the first I've heard of it. You might be right, Honor. Though you're brilliant.
I am right.
Okay,
but like
Heather,
I am
where
right
do you
about.
side
I'm at
on this,
least
Heather?
right about
We
our
need you to.
cats.
You need to side on this, Heather. What side are you on?
On the cat debate?
Are all cats
Most.
born from
Not all
brothers?
Zed, but like street
Most.
cats. Most rescues. You know what I mean? Like
mean-
cats that like people found.
Ugh.
You have to
I'm
take a
allergic
side,
to
and then we'll move
cats.
past it,
I'm
Heather.
allergic to cats. I would honestly, and cats, they're so they must be inbred just because of their attitudes. Like they're just so rude, right? There has to be something off going on
Like a
there.
pompous, like the royal family, because the royal family's inbred, so you kind of get like
It's-
a
it's-
pretentiousness.
It's a genetic mutation of some sort.
All
I
right,
would
I buy
love
it.
for that to be the reason that my cats don't love me as much as I love them.
Steve, are you going to ask me if I like this movie? I could feel it coming.
yes.
All right, do it. I'm ready.
Okay. Did you want to see this movie, Zed? Were you pleasantly surprised? How'd you feel about it?
So yeah, I knew going into this that this was the director of I, Tanya. So I was like actually kind of excited. And I think this movie has 3 or 4 writers. One of the 4 writers wrote on or co-wrote The Favorite. So there were a lot of kind of these background things with this movie I was excited about, and the cast. Um, not only do we have Paul Walter Hauser, but we also have Kirby, who she was like a LA involved at UCB. She used to do like mod teams in Herald Night. I think she was all involved in that. So
Mm.
a lot of reasons to be excited about this movie. And I'll say, yeah, I had a good time watching it. But even if this is I, Tanya with Cruella, I mean, I just don't really care that much about the Cruella lore. I just don't think this is maybe a movie for me, but I had a good time watching it, and there's a lot of things that I thought were cool about it that I can't wait to talk about with you guys.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way about it too. I liked a lot of it. I had a good time watching. I fell asleep for like 10 minutes. I really enjoyed that. That was really nice. But I just don't think this is necessarily for me. I am actually stoked and happy that it feels like they pulled off like a pretty cool like tween movie, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I think they did a really good job of like an original story.
Yes.
Because I
That
mean, we've had to watch so many of these live action Disney movies for this podcast. Beauty and the Beast being the biggest, but I think we also did the Jungle Book. I don't even think we watched Aladdin or the Dumbo one. But
Are
those, yeah, go. What's up?
are the other Disney live action movies rated PG-13?
I think
no.
they're I think they're all
Because
PG.
this was rated PG-13, wasn't it?
Yes, that's what I mean when I say tween. I mean that it's like very angsty, but
Yeah,
it's
it's for
made for
like a
like
little bit of older crowd.
yeah, like a 12 or 13-year-old, I think it's just it's really cool that they pulled it off. They were able to take these cartoon characters and humanize them in a real way that felt pretty authentic. Of course, there's still a little bit of some cartoony aspects, just the fact that the two thieves like have this hideaway and stuff, but generally like I think all of the characters' motives and stuff are like far more complicated than anything we've seen from like a Disney cartoon in I don't remember how long. So I mean,
Yeah.
I appreciate that they like really swung big at this, and I feel like they really fucking pulled it off.
There actually was like a lot of emotional complexity to these
Yeah.
characters, which
For sure,
was
yeah.
interesting because normally, I mean, I'll be honest, like I'm not a huge adult Disney fan.
What?
No,
What does that
it's
mean,
not
Heather?
I'm not one of those people.
Oh, okay.
Not one
I
of
didn't know
those
if you meant
people.
I didn't know if you meant you're like not a fan of adult Disney movies or a fan of adults that are into Disney.
Well, a little of both, a little of both.
Okay.
I'm never gonna be one of those people who is like wants to get married at Disneyland or like that's a thing. Um, I'm not into that stuff. And generally I don't really watch any children's films. My rule is basically if it's not rated R, it's not for me.
Wow.
I know
Pops.
I'm like there are some kids movies that I like, but this was just it was a very like different edgy sort of take on something that's like it's like really old intellectual property that Disney has had for a long time, and obviously they're like cycling through all this stuff trying to like do some cash grabs, I guess, even though they don't need it. But yeah, I thought it was really well done. And also, even though, I have personally been in a feud with Emma Stone, and
Whoa, whoa.
I'm gonna say that after this film the feud is over. I'm putting it to rest.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's that. Like honestly, okay, she was in the worst movie ever made. And
What movie?
I don't know if I want to get into that with
Is it La
Steve.
La Land?
I'm shuddering just thinking about it.
It's La La Land, isn't it?
Oh, it's horrible. One of the worst movie I've ever seen in my entire life. Well, it's in the top 5 worst movies I've ever seen. So, It's up there.
I think he just
But
knocked Steve out. He doesn't know how to respond to this.
I think Steve knows that I'm not a La La Land fan.
It's funny. I watched it on the plane to New York. Every time I see La La Land, it gets worse for me.
Oh no, Steve, stop watching it,
Yeah.
I
please.
know I'm going to.
Well, I have some information that I know you're starting to like Emma Stone. I have some information about this movie with her that I think might push her up a tier for you, Heather.
Oh, what is it?
All right, so this is from the IMDb trivia. That's my source on this, but it says a popular myth is that filming was delayed due to Emma Stone dislocating her shoulder at a Spice Girls concert in London,
Oh
where she
my fucking god.
fell off her friend's shoulders in June 2019. Stone later explained that the night before the Spice Girls concert, she was running in boots on a wood floor, slipped, and broke her shoulder in 2 places. She went to the concert with her arm in a sling and didn't go in for an x-ray until the next day. Filming was delayed while Stone went to physical therapy. Come on, that's pretty cool.
I mean,
Wow.
if you're gonna break your shoulder, do it at a Spice Girls concert. Or get
Well, it
the
seems
fuck
like
out of my life.
It seems like the facts is that she slipped at her house, but she didn't go to the hospital.
I choose to not believe that.
I mean, that sounds crazy. Like if you fall and break something and then don't seek medical attention, what is that? Like what's
Because you want to
going
see the
on with
Spice
that?
Girls.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, the
I-
Spice Girls.
I don't know. She just doesn't sound like a completely responsible adult to me. You know, she sounds
It's
a little
the
Cruella.
Spice Girls.
Yeah,
I
this is
don't
the
know.
Cruella that we needed. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, she sounds rebellious. You know, like she doesn't want to follow the rules. You know, she's a little bit bad and a little bit mad. But however,
Ooh, okay.
I do like how they this movie liberally just took from like some of the best movies ever. Of course, mostly I'm thinking of this had a very heavy The Devil Wears Prada vibe to it.
Oh, do you think so?
Absolutely.
Oh well, with her shadowing the Baroness.
Yes,
And,
I mean it's
and,
exactly The Devil Wears Prada. Are you kidding me?
Did you call
Except
this one of the greatest movies of all time, Steve? Did I hear that right?
I do think The Devil Wears Prada is pretty close to perfect in a lot of ways, in terms of its script. And I read the book, and I can watch that movie. If that movie's on, I'm watching the whole fucking thing. I can't help it. I just
Wow.
think it's pretty perfect. In fact, you know, what's so funny. This movie so much kind of borrows from The Devil Wears Prada that even like her butler guy, John, played by Mark Strong, actually looks like what's his name?
Oh, Stanley Tucci.
Yes, he looks like Stanley. Her second in
Oh,
command in this
yeah.
movie looks like the second in command in The Devil Wears Prada.
Oh
Well,
my
funny.
god.
Also,
Well, that's Mark Strong, right? What
Yeah.
else? He's been in a lot of stuff. Every time I see him, though, I do get kind of like, who does that guy look like? And, but
It's always
you're
Stanley
right.
Tucci.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
so Aline Brosh McKenna, who wrote The Devil Wears Prada, is credited as a story for this movie.
That's
What?
not true.
No.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
true.
god. No, you're right. Wait, what?
Yeah, so she probably wrote the outline to this
She
movie
wrote
with her friend
she
or
wrote
whatever.
her own movie again.
Yeah. And then, they had these other people come in and, fill out the script. But I think that comparison, well, not only just because of the subject matter, but yeah, I mean, you have the same person behind it. Of course, it's going to feel like it.
Wow.
Now, what do you think came first? Do you think they kind of had the idea for this and they were like, we got to get her because she came up with the story, basically? Or do you think they just hired her and say, give us The Devil Wears Prada, but Cruella DeVille?
I bet
Hmm.
Disney with these like higher ups was like, if anyone has ideas for a Cruella like prequel, we'd love to hear your pitches. And I'm sure her and her friend who also did the story, I'm assuming they're friends, I bet they pitched this to Disney. Disney loved it. And then they, for whatever reason, were like, well, we're going to have these other people write the script, but we'd love to use your idea. And then, and obviously when they're like, who's going to direct this? How could you not get the guy from I, Tonya to direct this?
This was not a cheap movie to make. This movie cost $100 million to make. And so I do think that, a lot of that stuff is hiring all these writers and hiring all these directors,
But
and
it looked expensive. Just
you're
like
right.
the
You're right.
set design, the
The costumes, yeah.
costumes,
Yeah, the costumes were
the
great.
makeup. I mean, it was definitely it looked expensive for sure. You
The
know.
CG dogs,
Yeah,
Wait, those
the
dogs were
full CG
CGI?
dogs.
the Dalmatians, I
They
believe.
definitely
Oh,
looked
but
like it.
what about the little dog Wink?
That was real, I think.
Oh my god, I loved him.
Yeah, he was every time it just cut to him and he kind of just tilted his head. I was like, this is the cutest thing ever.
Oh my god, Wink has to be real, right?
For sure.
You know what's so funny? Wink, I think, is real. But those Dalmatians, I think it looked like they were real Dalmatians, but their mouths were animated. Like that growling and all that stuff, that looked fake.
Oh my god, that's so interesting.
And
Well,
some of
that's
their action, like when
well,
they all dove on the mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why just the other day I was watching a movie where like there were rats and they were like CGI rats. It's
I
very
think
interesting.
in terms of the CG, like post production, whatever, in movies, the weird thing is, I think more often than not, it's used for kind of stuff that you probably don't even notice in movies. Like, yeah, it's like, or you'll see a butterfly and it's like, oh, I think that's CG. I think it's being used more now for like small flourishes, or what was in Mad Max, Fury Road. It was used to like take the wires out of the shot so you couldn't see that people were wearing wires. I feel like, yeah, the majority of post production stuff, I feel like, is it's much more subtle than a movie where you just have like a sidekick who's CG now, you know,
Mm, mm,
or like
mm.
smoke. Sometimes in a movie you'll see smoke, and it's like, oh, I think the smoke is CG. But one thing, I know we kind of moved past it, but I wanted to bring up with Paul Walter Hauser. Did you notice something he did in this movie, Heather?
There were a lot of things he did, but
Something that you might particularly find attractive?
um
DJ?
He DJ'd.
He is a DJ.
Oh, right.
I
Yeah.
just had to make that connection. I was like, oh,
Oh,
how did we not
Oh,
bring
yeah.
that
oh,
up?
you know, it's so funny. I'm so glad you brought this up, but this soundtrack was insane. Like, I haven't heard a soundtrack like
Oh,
this in
well,
so long.
that's another thing that makes the movie so expensive is just
Yes, I know.
paying
That's
to
what I'm
have those
saying.
songs in the movie.
Like,
I loved this soundtrack. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
like two Beatles songs, a Led Zeppelin song, David Bowie. But it's funny. I think I could be wrong, but as soon as she becomes a teenager or whatever, I believe there's like 30 minutes straight of music at one point. Did you
Yeah,
guys notice that? It was just song after song after song.
it was the
Yeah.
zombies. It was God, there were like 3 or 4 songs in a row that Steve, I noticed that. I was like, oh, but then when you find out it's the director of I, Tonya used tons of that stuff. But what I actually appreciated about this movie more than I, I felt like a lot of the songs in I, were kind of obvious and overdone. I think it even used that Fleetwood Mac song that was in 3 movies that year, including
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 or whatever. But I felt like in these are big songs, but they didn't feel particularly obvious or overdone. And I thought he did a really good job of implementing them.
Yes, that's true. I was happy to. Yeah, they were all big songs, but they weren't as obvious. I remember watching I, Tanya and like straight up rolling my eyes. I think we saw it together and it just being like, "Oh my god!" Like I can't believe they're using this fucking song again. Yes, they spent a lot of money on that thing. A lot of big
Wait,
songs.
Florence and the Machine sang the song "Call Me Cruella." It's like an original song that they did for the movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
I heard it at the end.
They do
Oh.
that sometimes where they'll like put out a call to like a handful of like bands, and then they'll write a song and they'll pick one.
yeah. This movie also had
I think
Ike
about that
Turner.
so much whenever you hear like a song that you know was written for the movie
Yeah.
and you're trying
Oh,
to decide if it's even good.
think about all the versions of it you didn't hear, right?
I know, yeah.
Guys, this movie had Ike Turner on the soundtrack. Is that okay? Are we okay with that?
Well,
He's dead.
I mean,
Well, the funny thing is also with all these songs, which I thought were great, and one song in particular I do want to talk about because I'm curious what you guys thought about it. But Nicholas Britell did the score, and it's just funny because he's so awesome. Like I feel like I didn't really even notice what he did. You know, he also did Moonlight, If Beale Street Could Talk, even Battle of the Sexes and Vice. But he's so good. It was just funny that like he kind of gets overshadowed by all of the big songs in the movie.
I don't think I noticed the music besides the big songs. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah. Oh, so guys, I'm curious what you thought about it. So the song uses a Stooges song, "I Want to Be Your Dog," which is funny because of whatever. But what's really funny to me about this is I wonder if there was any pushback from Disney, because the song is very obviously about, it's like sex and wanting to be dominated.
Mm.
And I was like, I kind of can't believe this is in the movie.
Relatable. What can I say? I don't know. Pretty edgy.
I mean, for Disney, this was a pretty edgy movie, I
It
think.
is.
Maybe.
It was. Yeah.
Well, it has one of the first, I think, like pretty openly gay characters in it that they don't even make that big of a deal that he's gay in it. I think that character was so cool. The guy who, I don't know why they dressed him up like David Bowie half the time. That kind of bummed
What's
me
his
out.
name? RT or something? What is
Yes.
it?
Oh,
Artie,
like
played by
her friend.
John
Yeah, Artie.
McCrea,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
who was also in one of your favorite movies, Ed, in God's Own Country.
Oh, was he the lead in it?
I think he is.
He was the guy. Oh my god, I didn't even recognize because he had all the
Wow,
makeup.
yeah, I didn't recognize him.
Oh wow, he was great. I loved his little shop. I love every time Emma Stone went in it. Remember that one time when she was like, "Oh, I'm not this," and then she's like, "It's me," and he's like, "Oh, how dastardly of you." I was like, "Oh, whatever this chemistry, this relationship," I was like, "I love it."
I did like all of that. That I fell asleep in the 10 minutes in that part though, but I do like that she came up that back and forth, like, is it her or not? That was really fun too. This movie was long at 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 17 minutes, but they like squeezed a lot of they put a lot into it too. So it never felt like it was dragging or anything. There was just like whole different like chunks, like different movies within the movie.
Well, yeah, at one point it could have been over, but then when she's kind of heading towards that fountain and she makes her big monologue.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I was like, what is the significance of this fountain right now? Like, it felt like this was a important place. And I was like, I just don't understand the setting. But it was like big reveal, who her mom is and all this stuff. And I don't know if dragging is the right word, but it definitely was pulled out a little bit. But I think a little bit, this is an experiment for Disney. And they were like, let's just try all this stuff and we can kind of see what lands. And then we can use this as a blueprint for other movies going forward. That would be my theory a little bit.
Heather, if you were to settle down with any one of these male characters, which one would it be?
For coital purposes.
Oh yeah, let's just say fucking. Let's just say fucking for right
Oh
now.
boy. Oh my gosh. The guy who played Jasper was actually really cute.
Oh yeah, you liked him, Joel Fry. I did think he did a great job. I'm glad you mentioned that you want to fuck him because he did a great job. A lot of heart and a very grounded role. Especially, I think him being so good and grounded allowed Paul Walter Hauser to really go off and be basically like a living cartoon.
Yeah.
But Joel Fry was very good in that role. And yes, Joel Fry, if you're listening, she's waiting for you, bro. Just did Pilates. So,
he's actually British.
Yeah. He probably DJs too. A lot of Brits do that. It's funny. He was kind of the saving grace, I felt like, of yesterday, of that movie.
There was a part where I thought him and Cruella were totally going to make out, but it didn't happen.
I think that they're going to, though, right? Like, it was very...
No.
I don't know.
You
never
so?
know.
It felt like that's what they were, like, setting up.
I don't know.
I don't know. That makes the best.
I don't think Cruella was
hooking up
with her gang in the animated movie.
Oh my God.
I don't think that's what was happening.
Yeah, but they got to build some stakes,
Yeah, there's a lot of tension, but I felt like they were in a fight even more so than her and the Richard Jewell guy. I felt like there was actual tension between them in a way where maybe there was some romance kind of boiling under the surface.
Same.
Dude, just when it's so funny that she would just like use that accent and like when she kind of went crazy and just fully committed to Cruella. she just used that accent every time. We just kept doing that accent all night. It was just so funny to me.
Yeah. Well, so like what's her face? Who's the woman who played the Baroness?
Emma Thompson?
Emma Thompson. Okay, so she was so good at this. Like she was
Yes.
brutal. The Baroness was psychotic and brutal. And
Yes.
at one point I noticed they called her straight up a narcissist, which is very interesting how they that's like in the lexicon only recently that people are
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
they like
using
straight
that
up
word.
diagnosed her. Like it wasn't like
Yes.
it wasn't like a toss off. It was like, oh no, she's an official narcissist.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I actually, I did hear some criticism of this movie that it uses ableist language because Emma Stone, like I think there's like a few times where she says psycho, where she's like, is she talking about herself or some other I don't know. Like she describes a bunch of people as psychos, or she calls the Baroness a psycho, right?
Come on, this is the 70s. Everyone was a psycho in the 70s.
I don't know.
fucking
It was
psycho in
just a
2021.
really interesting use of like psychology jargon that we don't really hear in a lot of movies, I guess. I feel like, especially for a Disney movie.
Well, the moment for me where she really felt evil was when she got the what is it, the thing that shocks people, and she just shocked two
Oh,
of the people,
yeah.
and she's like, can I do more? I forget what her line was,
She
but I was
said,
like,
"Oh, this is fun. I could do this all day."
yeah, I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
she's terrible. And it's kind of, I have this issue with just newer movies where I think they're too afraid to make villains because by nature, villains are like problematic. And I really like that this movie made the villain terrible.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's cool that she's in this movie. And it's also especially cool because we're going to see that the hero of this becomes terrible, right?
Well,
yes. Although I don't know how they're gonna pull that off because they didn't do it like the Joker. The Joker was like fully committed to being a full-on lunatic by the end of the Joker, and you understand that's how he becomes. But they still held back with Cruella on this, as if they do have some kind of trilogy plan, so that she's still going to be human in the next one. But then, like fully, I guess this is like the Star Wars prequels. Then she's going to fully become like Darth Vader, Cruella Deville in the last one.
They set up how her mom died.
Yeah.
As which, by the way, I know that went on Twitter, and people like, there was like one thing that went viral that was like, anytime I have trouble writing something, I'll remember that in Cruella they wrote that the reason why Cruella doesn't like dogs is because they killed her mom or whatever. And I'm like, I don't understand why that's that bad. It's like a Disney movie. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, of course someone's not gonna like something if they
that scene is laugh out loud funny though, Zed.
I didn't think it was. I mean, I was having a good time. Maybe I was laughing
when her mom falls over the cliff.
Yes, yes. With the Dalmatians, like that stuff. Yeah,
I thought it was scary. I didn't think it was bad.
Zed, it's okay.
Honor, you thought
You
that
don't have
scene
to be
was bad?
scared. I didn't think it was bad. I mean, I thought the whole movie was really cheesy. But
Oh, by the way, only because we keep bringing Emma Thompson up, Nicole Kidman, Charlize Theron, Julianne Moore, and Demi Moore were all in the running to play that role.
oh wow.
Yeah, no, none of them would have been able. None of them would have been able to pull that off. I mean, obviously, the person who deserved it got it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Charlize Theron though, she can play a villain pretty well. I feel like.
Oh, she could have done it for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. Oh, huh. Yeah, I thought she was terrible, and I think that origin makes sense. But yeah, I guess they're really gonna have to turn it up with the next one, and I think that's gonna be a balancing act for the reasons you're saying, Steve. Is like, the Joker is rated R. Like, this is still, even though it's PG-13, it's kind of for kids. Like, how are they gonna do that twist where she becomes terrible?
I feel like maybe there's going to be a different twist where she doesn't end up skinning a bunch of Dalmatians alive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, call me crazy, but maybe I think they're taking it in a totally different direction.
Yeah, that's a
Like,
really good point.
hopefully it was like
too.
a misunderstanding. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's maybe they set it up with this one where she says that she did, but then she didn't. So maybe like it'll be revealed that those other ones weren't either.
Right.
Wait, guys.
Well,
I,
in the animated version, though, like what is the origin of Pongo and Perdita, those two original
I
Dalmatians?
don't think they really say.
Because in at the end of this, like she gifts them to Roger and Anita.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was different.
I don't
oh,
think
something
that there
interesting.
ever was like origins before though. Like not that I've ever heard of.
I mean, yeah, this whole I don't know if they've done animated origins, but just the idea that we're going to get these origin stories that are live action with like interesting directors and great casts and all these people involved. I think the person who did costumes for this movie also did the costumes for Mad Max Fury Road. It's just like filling out the roster with all these like people.
Wow.
Yeah, people are like really great at what they do. I'm just like, even if I don't like them, this was not the torture that watching Beauty and the Beast was or some of these other movies. So I'm like, huh. And this is the first one, so maybe they're gonna, I don't know, maybe they'll just get better. I mean, I'm obviously you guys liked it, so I'm not trying to take away from that. But I also think it's kind of funny that under the trivia, there's just a trivia fact that just says Nicolas Cage was considered to appear.
What as what?
Yeah, I don't
The
know.
Mark Strong part, maybe? I don't know.
I don't know what it was going to be. Oh, so something I know you guys are talking about Emma Thompson. We're talking how bad she is, and Cruella becoming her. One of the I feel like the not tropes, but just when you think of Cruella, you think of her with the cigarette.
Mm.
And in this movie, you never see her smoke, and I think we know why. But we do see them drink a lot, and this was actually a criticism I saw. Sean Baker, who directed Florida Project and Tangerine, he was just kind of pointing out that it's like kind of bizarre that socially or whatever we're okay with characters drinking, but smoking is not okay. When one kind of maybe is more of a problem, but with
Well,
drinking,
yeah, I mean, of course. Well, you're saying that alcohol is like the worst thing for you.
Well, not worse, but it just as bad, if not worse than smoking.
Yeah,
But
but it is definitely more socially acceptable. But like, God, I have a criticism of the Florida Project. Actually, that actually just made me so. I'm like triggered right now.
that I brought him up. I'm sorry.
What's the criticism?
Well, that movie belongs to a genre that I call poverty porn. And what that is, it's basically movies that are like, look at these poor people. Like, look at their lives and look how poor and sad they are. That's basically what the Florida Project was.
Well, I loved it.
Okay.
I didn't view it like that, like he was exploiting their stories. I think he was humanizing poor people. So there's a fine line there. I guess it depends on how one interprets it, but I love that movie, and you're fucking wrong, Heather.
Okay. Whatever you say. Whatever you say.
I don't know. I just say a big part of it to me is just so many movies are focused on upper class or middle class. It's like not many movies focus on lower class, and I feel like with that movie and Sean especially, he really spends so much time with the kind of people that he's covering that I don't think it's exploitive. And I mean, who else is going to tell these people's stories if someone isn't making a movie about it? A lot of people don't really, they drive by hotels, they don't know who's living in them. In LA, they drive by the donut and they see people like turning tricks, but who else is doing a movie about these people's lives? And I don't know. I think that it's kind of, maybe not noble is the right word, but I'm like, these people have a story. I think it's good that it's in movies.
What do you think of that, Heather?
This could be a whole other episode.
Yeah. Well, and also not everybody that's born in poverty or even grows up in poverty stays in poverty forever. Or people that go in and out of poverty, like they have stories too.
Yeah, what do you think about
it's
that,
called,
Heather?
It's called Annie, Heather. Take a look at it.
Wow,
one of my favorite movies. Yeah, rags to
Annie.
riches, bitches.
Hey, Cruella was poor.
She was. Talk about a rags to riches story, huh? By the way, before we wrap it up, I do want to point out that they kind of steal the plot of Mannequin, one of my favorite movies from 1986.
What?
In what way?
How?
Very briefly,
With Kim Cattrall?
Yes,
Oh
when
my god.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but the guy secretly, he's an employee. Andrew McCarthy is an employee
Oh
at the
yeah.
mall, and
Yeah.
then he secretly redoes the window.
Oh my god.
Oh
And then
yeah.
the window things, all the window dressings become like a sensation. And so yeah.
Did he also have was there also like a rude manager at the mall that like hated him or something?
I think that's the owner. I know there was the black gay guy who helped him.
Mm.
Uh but they were friends, I believe. So
Yeah, who was the guy who played the manager of the department store? He was pretty funny actually. He had some
oh my god, yeah, he's great. He's the guy who has the buck teeth on what's it called?
on what?
What's the show on Amazon with the woman who's like a sex addict with the 2 seasons, and the second season's she's in love with a priest.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh, you're talking about Fleabag.
Yeah, Fleabag.
Oh,
He's
Fleabag.
in the pilot for Fleabag. He's the guy on the bus with the fucked up teeth. I'm so glad you brought him up. He's
Oh.
so funny in this movie. He was so good in it. I loved him in this.
Yeah, no, he was really good. His comic timing was very good.
I'm trying to find him real quick. Oh, his name's Jamie.
Jamie Demetrius?
No, Demetrio.
That's not what
And
it says here. But okay. Let me see.
no, it's
Let me make
the
sure.
same guy.
Oh,
I think
it's a
I'm
French name.
yes, Demetrio. But he was great.
A lot of these people in this movie were either in Paddington or Paddington 2, I've noticed. And man, I can't wait for Paddington 3. Just throwing that out there.
I'm gonna look up Jamie Demetrio's Instagram.
I haven't seen any of the Paddington. Should I watch those?
Well, based off of you saying that you only like rated R movies, maybe not.
Yeah,
Well, no,
there's
I
no bear
actually
fucking, if that's
no.
what you're asking.
No, I do like cutesy little movies. I'm just like I'm really sensitive and I cry. Like almost everything makes me cry. So I don't know if it's gonna ruin my day if I watch it.
They're very wholesome. I'll say
Mm.
that. They're very wholesome, but also humorous and kind of light and breezy,
Mhm.
with points that I think I think you'd agree with. Heather, you're kind of like a good person, right?
I mean, I think so. Yes.
Then yeah, you'll like them.
Okay.
I think you're a great person, Heather, and thank you so much for reviewing this with us. We're going
No
to do final
problem.
thoughts on Cruella right now. We're going to go around and do final thoughts. Heather Maruli, what are your final thoughts on Cruella?
Cruella, I was honestly shocked. Yes, I was hesitant to see it. I thought when Steve asked me to see Cruella, I was like, this is so rude. But I'll do it. I'll do it for the people. I'll do it for the fans. And I loved it. I was very surprised. The acting was great. I think the part I loved the most out of everything were the costumes. I thought those were extremely well
Yes.
done. Like if you just want to see it for one thing, like see it for that cuz the dresses they had Cruella in were like they knocked it out of the park with those. And of course, Emma Thompson, legend, you know. So definitely see this movie. Don't be afraid to see it even if it's like how long? 2 hours and 20 minutes? You won't even
Yeah.
notice. You won't even notice. You'll have so much fun. You'll love it. And you'll shed a tear or two. Mhm.
Great, great. I agree with everything you just said. Honor, what are your final thoughts?
I had such a great time. Yeah, I think they did like such a good job of creating an original story that was it still like worked with the universe or whatever, but it kind of like sheds light on different characters and it's interesting and it's fun and it was a very edgy Disney movie.
Zed, your final thoughts?
Yeah, I like this movie. I'm kind of curious what they're gonna do with I guess the other Disney properties with these prequels. I know we were talking about the fashion, but that montage where Cruella is just doing the fashion stunts and the garbage truck kind of pulls up and when it pulls away all of the dresses were connected. I was like, oh, that was really cool. Honor brought this up. She didn't bring this up during the podcast, but she was like, oh, some of this kind of reminds me of stuff from the Steve McQueen documentary. And I was like, oh yeah, there is a lot of like very imaginative, like I guess the way that the delivery of these outfits and all this stuff. It was really cool, And yeah, I had a good time watching this movie. And yeah, Steve, right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I actually liked the trailer a lot. I know like everyone was joking about it, but they used a pretty cool like Depeche Mode remix for it. And I was like, oh, I don't like Disney stuff too, but the trailer made me really, I like, oh, I want to see this. And I was talking to a friend of a show, Chelsea. What's Chelsea's last name? I'm sorry, Chelsea. You're going to hear this and you're going to hate me for it. But she messaged me and she's like, oh, I'm going to see Cruella. And I was like, oh, I'm going to see it too. I can't wait to see it. I don't know why, but I actually really want to see this. And she's like, I know why. And I said, why? And she said, because it's full of white women. And I'm like, yep, you're right.
Oh my god.
Especially Emma Stone, one of my absolute favorite white women. I'm glad she's happy. Fell in love with her first in Superbad. Who didn't? And now she's just knocking it out of the park. One of the greater actors of her generation. So I'm always looking forward to that. Love this show. Love this movie. Had a great time. Julia had a great time. You guys should check it out. It's a lot of fun. Heather, thank you so much again for coming on. Where can we find you online?
Oh yes, so I am on Twitter and Instagram at FixedAirHeather, and I'm on TikTok with the kids at Unruly Maruli.
Do you make TikToks though? Do you do them a lot?
I do. I'm doing it more often now, but initially when I first started, it was so difficult. And they do that on purpose. It's hard to make a TikTok.
I've been threatening. I'm adding you right now as we speak. I've been threatening to be on it to start. I'm writing jokes in my head. I just don't want to learn how to do it. But
It's actually complicated the
that's what I
way.
mean. I'm
Yeah.
not saying like I don't want to do it. I mean, I'm like scared. But
Mm.
I'm writing good jokes, and it's like one of the last. It's the last true thing where you get like a real results from the algorithm. It's not like Instagram or Facebook where they're just choking it out. You can get thousands and thousands of views. So all right, I'm adding you. Thank you so much, Heather. Follow her at Unruly Maruli.
Mm-hmm. On TikTok and Fixed Heather on Instagram and Twitter.
All right. Oh yeah, you're pumping these out. Anna, where can we find you?
I'm on Instagram at NEZZZIE.
And Zed, where can we find you?
At Zed Cutsinger on all socials. Well, not TikTok. I'm never going to do that. Sorry, guys. But
okay.
yeah, I'm on Letterboxd. Follow me on Letterboxd. Movies. Yeah.
And you can find me at Big Hern on Twitter, Hernia on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for listening. We're transitioning again to all Patreon. We might pop up every now and then things, and then we're also gonna keep paying to like have our feed renewed, so we'll have access to those 280 episodes. But if you miss us, please come over and find us. We're gonna still be doing our thing, but we love you guys, and we'll see you next week at the Vista.